Aloha. I am out here grounding and filling into this beautiful nature that we have here in Earth Realm. It feels so amazing. And I just wanted to get on and do a little, video journal again. And so hopefully background noise isn't too much of a distraction for y'all. Um, you know, this journey has really been divine, and it's the only way that I can really explain it. And I spoke in my last little journal that I posted about the 7D pregnancy, and how when I had reached out to someone about 7D that she gave me these beautiful messages, and it felt really good to not be alone. And one thing I missed in that space, and mind you, it was April, we were homeless, I was still growing through a whole lot, and now I'm just in a different mind space, and I just wanted to share some of the things that are, have come through, and maybe that I didn't share in that first video. And one of the things was my connection with my sisters, my soul sisters. It really has been such a lovely connection, and I have so much gratitude and so much love for these women who have come into my life and shown me what sisterhood means, and really been there for me through this. And having lost my biological sisters, and I don't know if lost is the word, but not being connected to them, not having any kind of after the walk-in especially, there was just no connection, and I just didn't feel like I needed to be in contact with them anymore. And there was a lot that we had to grow through, obviously, but I did this beautiful workshop called Trist Feminina that a soul sister and myself co-hosted. I can't remember if it was at the end of 2022 or the end of 2023. It was sometime at the end of the year, and it was really beautiful, and it brought sisterhood into my life. I was finally fully ready to open up and bring more sisters in. And I guess I'm gonna pause because this helicopter is super loud, so just enjoy the ocean for now. The joys of living near military bases, I guess. I get those often down here in San Diego. Anyhow, back to where I was. So anyhow, I just wanted to give my love and gratitude to the sisters who have been there for me throughout this journey. And my openness to sisterhood has grown over time, and it's shifted, and I just continue to try to stay open and love them and have compassion, and be open to sharing my story, and the women who are supposed to be in my life, they're going to stick around, and they're going to understand what I'm going through. And I've had some really amazing women that have been in that space for me. So I just wanted to give deep gratitude and love towards them. And that's opening up, and so I'm excited about that. And then moving into just a little bit more about the walk-in experience. I feel like what was shared on the video with Alicia Brache was divinely guided and exactly what needed to be shared. But there were some things that I did want to open up about and talk a little bit more about the personality changes and the things that happened after the walk-in. So I had been walking, I had got the call I want to say late 2016, early 2017, I went through a lot. 2017 was a big transitional year, and there was a near death experience that happened that year. And I guess a couple of them, thank you for the reminder, Spirit. There was a couple of them where I just was really shaken to my core. And I feel like in those times, there were times when my soul, my soul walked in and was able to shift. And, there were times like I went through, I think people that would have known me if I allowed myself to be around anybody at that time, which I really didn't. There were very few people in my life when I was going through this transition. But, I could imagine what they were thinking. Like, they probably thought I was bipolar. One day I was a fully functional alcoholic and I didn't care much about life and I just was over it. And the next day I would, be detoxing and trying to make the best out of life and have all the good things. And so it really was the combination of the souls and the transitioning that was happening. And so finally, when I walked in at the end of 2019, there was a big identity crisis. And not just wanting to eat different foods or wanting to clean up all of the toxins in my home, or I talked about like making my own toothpaste and just doing all of this. Spirit doesn't like me to use the word holistic because it really has a different vibration to it now, but more natural way of living, more ancient type way. And I think the other thing for me that was a big shift was the soul that was in this body before me was super outgoing. She could, anywhere you went with her, it's like she was open and happy and wanted to talk to everybody, and she met so many new people, and she was so comfortable going places by herself, and she would travel alone, and she knew people all across the United States. And I feel like if she would have gotten out of fear, she probably would have traveled all over the world solo, on this solo journey. And she was just this like fun, life of the party, open, happy. Like her spirit was just so excited to be here. And that was, it wasn't just the drinking. Like the drinking definitely helped at times, but there were many, many years where she didn't drink. In her early 20s, she was the one that would go out and be sober and, be the designated driver for people. And she went through a lot of life transitions very fast. And I see now, like, the amount of ancestral healing that she went through without even knowing that that's what she was doing it was a lot. It was a lot. Even I coming in and being the soul in the body now, there's a lot of remembrance in the body. Not thoughts. I don't remember things with my mind, but the body has a lot that has been stored in it that I've been processing through for her. And I've connected with her, and I've asked her to give me the imprints or the memories of what actually happened so that I could help process through them easier. And so it's been this divine connection between my soul and hers, and there's been a few times where I've really been able to connect with her and speak with her on a whole different level. And yeah, so I feel like that's the other part that wanted to come through about being a walk-in. And now just a little bit more about the 7th dimensional pregnancy and the shape-shifting. And I say this journey is not for the faint of heart. When I first found out I was a walk-in, it was shocking, and I didn't want to believe it, and I kind of just backed away from it. And I just kept getting these messages and these signs, and so I finally just decided to lean in and see where it would take me. And I started to learn more and more about myself and my journey and my soul. And my soul is so completely different than the soul that was in this body before me. I'm quiet. I'm more reserved into myself. I don't like being in crowds. I don't like being in front of people or in front of a camera. And the soul that was in this body before, like, she loved being in front of the camera. She was a performer. You know, she was a competitive ballroom dancer, and she did all this different type of dance growing up. And even just as a child, she was always like jumping in front of her, in front of the video camera whenever she got a chance. So that for me was like, I didn't want to be seen. I didn't want it's not because there's anything wrong or there's anything that I'm ashamed of. I know that there was a time where this body went through a whole lot, obviously during the time when the soul before me was the fully functional alcoholic, and processing through a lot. And so I feel like in that time, there was a lot that happened, and a lot of things that she wasn't proud of, and that she had to process through. And so now I feel like I'm processing through them for her. And I'm in a space now where it's like her and I had some pause real quick while that truck rides through. Her and I have a lot in common in that her soul and the soul that was in Dario's body before they were a divine union, they were meant to come into union in this lifetime. Just like Dario and I are one soul, we came into their bodies so that we could complete their mission. And so there was some processing. There was some guilt and some shame that I didn't have the memories of. They weren't, wasn't anything that was like in my consciousness. And, I didn't know where it was coming from, and I had to feel through that. And the other thing was that safety was probably her biggest life lesson, was safety. And she just never felt safe from the time that she was in the womb. She went through a lot of experiences that most people don't have to go through. Or, when people hear this story about this body, they're shocked at the amount of experiences that it had to grow through. And that's okay. She chose that, right? Like, she was an old soul. I'm an old soul. And we've been here, we've done it before, and she chose to come in and clear a whole lot of karma and work through some ancestry. And it just got to the point where, it was just too much. And so I give her a lot of love and grace for even being able to, like, not be prideful and to reach out and put that call out into the universe for help and say, like, I can't do this anymore, and I'm in over my head and I really just need help. That's something that I feel like a lot of us can learn from. And sorry about the noise in the background. I know it's loud and a little obnoxious, but everything happens as it's supposed to, so I'm just gonna keep going. And now back to the pregnancy, and it's been difficult not being able to that truck is taking away a lot of emotions that are coming up with this share, so take it all. It's been difficult to experience this pregnancy and not be able to fully comprehend it myself or be able to explain it to people. And I've had some really magical experiences with different healers, and it's like every time it's just this confirmation, and more comes through about the journey of why I'm here and why she left. And so yeah, it's like everything is still coming into alignment, and I know that there are things that we still need to do to anchor and to get us into a space where we will where our home can come into fruition, and we can open up to really just being in our abundance and everything that we deserve. And I learned this a few years back, that the higher your vibration, the closer you are to God, the more abundant you become. And so really being in that space of complete surrender and trust that God is directing us, and that there is a higher power that is going to show us the way, as long as we continue to let go and trust and surrender. And that's the place that we're in now. And when people ask about the babies or myself and how I'm doing, like, my response now is just, we're continuing to surrender. We're continuing to surrender and trust. And I know I'm finally in this space, though, of like authenticity, where other people's energy is not bothering me anymore. For a long time, other people's energy really bothered me. And I was so I still am sensitive, but I just am better at protecting myself now. And I was feeling so much fear coming from other people. Like, I know that people, their fear is because they love and they care about me, and they want, nothing but the best for me and Daddy and the babies. But just the amount of fear that was coming through people was insane. It was like, it just was holding me back so much, and I had to disconnect from everyone and everything, and really like go deep back into myself and connect, and get back on this journey of connecting with the higher power, and really understanding that, yes, my journey is different than others, and then surrendering to my guides. Like, Mother Mary came in for me really strong through this pregnancy, and I've never really had a connection with her before. I grew up Catholic. I never really understood her journey, and I think I never understood why she was idolized the way that she was. And when Mother Mary came to me, that was one thing that she spoke about, was that there was this idolization of her, and she actually went through so much. She had to process and grow through so much disbelief, so much anger, so much fear, all these things put on her. And it's just so similar to my journey now. And she told me that from the beginning, that your journey is a lot like mine, and I'm going to be here for you. And so in the times when I get into my head, and I start making up stories in my head, or I start believing stories of what other people are saying or thinking or feeling, or their fear, or whatever it is, I'm reminded to get back into my heart and to open up to my guides, and my soul family in higher dimensions, and to tap in and connect with them, and figure out what it is that I need to do to keep moving forward. And so Dario and I plan on sharing so much more of our story. There are so many crazy magical moments that have happened with us since we've walked in, and we're really excited to open up and start sharing that with you all, and coming from a space of just this like raw, vulnerable, open, just organic, authentic space that we can be who we are, and we're past the point of judgment. And I will say this, I feel like I finally got here. I'm finally in this space where I'm not afraid of people judging me, because I finally fully stopped judging others. And yeah, there's a lot going on in the world, and there's a lot that I don't agree with, and there's a lot that we can call it evil or low vibration or bad judgment or whatever we want to call it. But what I've been taught through all of this, from a higher power, is that those people who we feel like are in lower vibrations, who we feel like are evil or are doing dark things, we have to give them love too, and we have to have compassion for them. And who are we to judge, right? Like, I remember saying that years ago. Like, I'm not here to judge. Everyone will have their day, and that's not for me to even try to be a part of while I'm here. I'm here to enjoy this beautiful earth, this amazing green grass and blue skies and abundant ocean, and to be in love, and to be in gratitude, and to be in authenticity, and to open up and share my story, because I know that there are so many other people who are going to relate, who are maybe looking for some guidance or some help. And the fact that I did it, I had to do the majority of it on my own and try to understand what this whole process was really hard. And if I wasn't connected to my highest self and my guides, my angels, the creator, I wouldn't be in this position. And so I'm really grateful for that, and I'm continuing to surrender and trust that things are exactly the way that they need to be. Even all of the stuff that we may think is bad or negative or evil, it is all happening divinely. And more people are awakening and rising and coming out of their slumber and remembering. And that is the most magical, powerful thing. And that's what I'm here for. That's why we walked back in. We were done with the ascension journey. We were happy where we were and serious. And we heard the call and decided to come back. And we're going to enjoy this beautiful space while we're here. And we're going to help as many people as we possibly can, because that's what we're here for. That's what Radiant Love Vibrations is all about. So stay tuned for more as I continue to share. Yeah. All right. You all have a wonderful day. Adios.